Tice Madox Solicitors is results-oriented, but with a distinctive approach tailored to our clients' needs in our specialist fields: immigration law, criminal law, employment law, commercial law, family law, and contracts law. We are well equipped in our litigation and advocacy for the benefit of our clients, corporates, and individuals. Why not visit us at 5 Oakfield House, Oakfield Road, Ilford, London, IG1 1EF. We are just 15 minutes from Liverpool Street Station. Tice Madox Solicitors. Try us. We are professional.
Hello and welcome to the program. My name is Justice Maduforo. I'm a solicitor of the Senior Court of England and Wales, and of course I'm also the barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I have presented topics in this program, and one of the topics I presented in this program is how to kickstart your consciousness. And it's very important that you understand that law regulates every human affairs, either in the civil palace or in the criminal palace, or in the non-civil palace, for instance, in employment and also in the tribunal cases, from immigration to professional tribunals to all the other tribunals, traffic tribunals. Law is the pivotal point of which human life is anchored on. If you plug out law, there'll be chaos and anarchy will prevail. But are those who are saddled with the responsibility to dispense law appropriately. And to do so, they must do so with utmost sincerity and utmost good faith. Putting together case laws that has been torn out in the past with the individual circumstance of the person, with any exceptional circumstance of the person, not just the person, of the trade, of the contract, oral or written, circumstances in general, to come to a worthy decision that is capable of being maintained in appeal process. That is from the first stage all the way to the Supreme Court, if at all it gets there. So law is crucial. And as a practitioner in the temple of law, I always want to ensure that my clients receive justice dispensed appropriately and at the right time. And that's why I have discussed all the areas of law that pertain, that affect you. Immigration, criminal, employment, family matters, landlord and tenants, and we have discussed that. And it channels them to you to watch them on our YouTube. Also replicating it there so that you can catch up with it if you have missed it. Kickstarting your consciousness. So on YouTube, you can subscribe to our YouTube TV and also watch our programs. Kickstart your consciousness. If we have spoken about certain things that affect you, you can take that step further by taking a further step to book an appointment to come to the office. And that is what it is. That's what the law provides for you. On that note, whatever I discuss in this program, or anybody you will see me bring on this platform to discuss, they are not legal advice, but primarily, as I said and I maintain, to kickstart your consciousness. Then you can be able to come to the office where we can take a tailor-made instruction from you and advise you accordingly. And at that stage, you will now be able to run with what we advise you or take the next step based on what we have advised you on. Now, today I'll be talking on immigration, and my topic today will be update on asylum. Update on asylum. Why did I term it update? Because I've discussed asylum in the past, and I say this, laws is ever evolving, ever changing. It doesn't stop there. The wheel of justice keeps spinning around. It keeps spinning around. So it doesn't stop, because if it stops, there'll be serious miscarriage of justice in certain circumstances, because circumstances are peculiar. And when circumstances are peculiar, the court will look at it. The court will never have a closed mind when it comes to circumstances. When it comes to cases before them, they must have an open mind, because the moment they adopt a closed mind approach to look at a case law that has almost not been in your favor in the past, or a law that's not in your favor in the past, then miscarriage of justice will be looming around. And that's not what the temple of justice offers. You go to civil courts, you go to appeals simply because you want a circumstance to be adjudged correctly. Because the person who has a responsibility to agree with you is disagreeing with you. And on that basis, do you now go to bed and just take it as it is? In certain circumstances, you will. If that person or that public body that made that decision arrived at that decision following fully considered circumstances, married together with the case laws, and then making and turning out a proper decision that will stand scrutiny before the courts. And if that is the position, if those who are going through that decision, for instance, if you come to Tice Madox Solicitors, and I go through those decisions, I'll be able to marry them line, mirror it down with the case laws, mirror it down with the law, mirror it down with the circumstances, and agree or disagree with that decision. And in that case, that is where consultation comes in. We'll be able to tell you to take this matter further, because we do not think that the decision maker has arrived at a just and fair decision while considering your circumstance. Whether it is in contract matters, disputes, or commercial disputes, or even in family proceedings, in employment proceedings, in immigration proceedings, and even in criminal proceedings, we'll be able to advise you, especially in criminal proceedings, where evidences that ought to have acquitted you were neglected, or were not given due weight attached to it, and in that circumstance, you were found guilty. And in the other circumstance, the sentence meted on you was too excessively high, manifestly excessive, then we could appeal that, even if we were not able to appeal the conviction, depending on the decision arrived at a conviction. If a conviction by the jury, we'll look at that. If a conviction by the bench or by the district judge sitting alone, we'll also consider that in the criminal matters and decide whether or not your matter can go forward. Even if you have appealed all the way to the Crown Court or the Court of Appeal and your case fails, there's the option to review that decision if there are newfound evidence that have come in against your conviction. That could be opened again through the Commission of Review. They will review the circumstances and the piece of evidence provided, and to see whether that decision to convict can stand or could be quashed. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we provide for you. The one-stop shop for you in all matters of law, in the matters of monitoring, in the matters of making sure that you stand in the right side of the law. That's what we offer you. I'm discussing update on Asylum. I've in the past discussed update on Asylum. I discussed Asylum. And I'm following it through with consistent updates. As long as decisions are made from the Home Office, all the way to the first-tier tribunal, and all the way to the upper tribunal, and to the Court of Appeal or even Supreme Court, either affirming, discharging, repealing, and completely overhauling and discharging the previous decisions either made by the Home Office or by the first-tier tribunal. Ladies and gentlemen, in that case, even all the way to the judicial review as well, to decide that. The problem, therefore, the problem, that's why I'm discussing Asylum today, updates on Asylum. The problem, and this problem is primarily yours, or primarily you that's making that application yourself. Now, there are so many ways you can regularize your stay in the United Kingdom. I tell people, regularizing your stay in the UK is cheap, as long as I'm consigned. It's cheap. It is not as serious, as difficult as you look at it. Even as the government or the conservative government or the Tories continue to water down and press down on immigration, because the law is on two sides of a coin. Toss up a coin now up, it lands on your palm, one side is facing down. Toss it up again, that same side facing down may not still be facing down. It will now turn up, and the one that is already up will face down. They toss it up again, they will continue to change and alter their own positions. That's what law says. That's what the law is. The law continues to alter positions. Law continues to alter decisions because of the fact that if it's wrongly done or circumstances different from the other, it will not be used to judge the other, especially in asylum cases. Now, what is asylum? Asylum, as you all know, is a protection from persecution from the country where you're coming from. especially those of you in the United Kingdom. Remember that this topic is for those in the United Kingdom, or those who are watching us outside of the EU, outside of the United Kingdom, outside of the EU, in African countries, in nations, that we should come here in the United Kingdom. And they want to seek protection. They want to seek protection. They want to seek protection from persecution, not prosecution. Because sometimes some of you, your stories are bordering on persecution, which you're running from, rather than persecution. But sometimes persecution and persecution have a very thin line demarcating them. Sometimes persecution borders on persecution, and persecution can also turn to be persecution. And because you want to avail, you do not want to avail yourself the stress and the brutality that will be meted on you in your own country, and you are in the United Kingdom, you do not want to return back there, or you are outside the UK, you want to come over to the United Kingdom, and you're already here, and you want to claim asylum. There are certain things that I will point to you, and point to a successful asylum application. The problem, as I said, is you, because some of you go ahead and make these applications yourself. I repeat it again, that's the reason why there are professionals. There are reasons. A professional sound solicitor like me is not different from a sound astronaut. That is it, because that is its field of specialization. This is my field of specialization. Especially, I use that word sound because I know so many cases that come to my firm to regularize either in employment or immigration or contracts that's done elsewhere. When I look at what they've done, I look at arguments. In fact, sometimes there's not even argument. It baffles me as to why that individual will address himself as a professional. It's not disrespecting anybody here, but it is to set a fact. Because some of you come in here, dozens of cases that come to me, transferred files from other firms, other representatives. One thing stands out. The arguments that ought to have boosted the success were neglected. Probably because they didn't bother to take time to research. That's why we take time to prepare your case a la carte. A la carte. Freshly made for you. Freshly made. We take time to prepare it. We take time to argue for you. We take time to put in things that you omitted. Because a simple thing you omit will kill you off as long as asylum is concerned. Now, asylum provides protection for you. The question now will be, on what basis do you want to claim asylum? What basis? Some of you have done this themselves and have not come up with anything at all that will engage asylum, that will engage Refugee Convention on asylum. Some of you have not even done anything that will even engage the Human Rights Act. Some of you claim asylum that does not in any way relate to that, other than the fact some of them will only be on inconvenience. Most of your asylum claims are based on inconvenience. Inconvenience, I don't want to go over there, I want to stay here. That is not a grant for asylum. Asylum is a very serious thing to claim. So it requires a professional touch to guide you before you make that phone call, before you sit before the Home Office to start telling your stories. You need a professional touch. You need a professional to guide you, prepare it for you. Sit down, prepare it for you. Let me tell you as a matter of fact, by way of explanation, before you claim asylum, if you come to me on the basis that you seek consultation, and from there we identify that this is either asylum or you already know that you're running away from your country and you want to claim asylum. Some of you think you know what exactly you want. But by the time you place it under the microscopic eye of the law, microscopic eye of the rules, it is found wanted. Or you do not even know. You need to be fine-tuned from what you already have in mind when you came. You see, that's not the same. That's why I said to you, a sound solicitor is not different from a sound astronaut, because he is an expert in his field of going to the moon. And all the requirements he needs to survive in the moon or survive outside this planet, he needs to take them into account. How to operate the machines, how to float, how to suspend the gravity, what to do, what not to do. The mind, the confidence alone to leave the planet Earth to up there in the moon or up there in whatever planet they choose to go. That alone is the expert in them, the expert intuition in them. So not everybody can do that. They're not different from a sound solicitor like me who understand the principles of the law and know how to marry it and how to place it side by side with what is required, how to argue it, how to narrow down issues, how to present evidence to corroborate the issues, and how to anticipate success. Not different. So as I said, in my practice, some of you come to me with all cases that you have, and I could see the difference. And some of you are testimonials to the fact that either have corrected them or that you're stuck with the fact that you've already destroyed your case. Now, asylum is a matter of credibility. Credibility is what drives asylum. Once credibility is punctured, you are finished, no matter how good your case is. No matter how good your case is. So we guide you to protect credibility, to make sure your credibility carries your case through. Not just carry your case through, ensure that while we are running and preserving your credibility, it is anchored on a sound reason to claim asylum. Sound reason. Not reason from your head, not reason of what you think, not reason because you want to save time, you want to buy time. You are killing yourself when you continuously make applications that are completely spurious, applications that does not in any way, you're not serious about it. You are damaging your credibility as you go along. As you go along. Some of you are not willing to avail yourself the opportunity to return back to your country. And then why continue to damage your credibility here? Why continue to do that? Why don't you use a professional who will guide you? And if it's done once and done once well. Some of you have good cases in asylum. So good cases in asylum claim. But you have destroyed it yourself. And that's why I say the problem is you. Simply because you feel you want to go tell the stories. Of course, there's nothing you cannot get that you not need to pay for. That's a proverb in this country, an English proverb. That's nothing that's free. That's something that's free in this country. That's nothing. Even the sales that you go running up and down, the black market, Black Friday, whatever they say it, and also sales period, and you think it's getting a bargain free, that could be that. But that adage in this country remains nothing is free. Nothing is free. Those of you that benefit, it is not free because the day you lose the requirements that ought to be upheld, you lose it. And there are requirements and obligations on you even when you are claiming benefit. Nothing is free. But when it comes to legal matters, you got to make sure that you get it right. You got to get it right because that is the beginning of your foundation here. Simple errors that some of you engage in asylum claims, it's so heartbreaking because the fact is that if you have used a professional like me, like this Tice Madox Solicitors, guide you, we'll be able to present a case that is near success or more than that because we have presented and taken into account as practitioners, so we know and have argued cases before the first tier tribunals, upper tribunal judges, argued cases before the high court judges, argued cases before the court of appeal. We know exactly the mindset of the courts. That's why I said to you, when we prepare cases, we don't prepare the cases of the now. We are preparing cases in anticipation. In anticipation that in event the caseworker of homophobia decides to be funny or decide to be unreasonable in their decisions, we have infused into your application strong basis of which we can convince the judges. And we know what the judge is looking for. You don't know what they're looking for. It's not your field. What you do every day is different from what you do once in your lifetime. This is what I do. I eat law. I sleep law. I read law. I talk law. I wake up law. I drink law. And I converse and have conversation on law. And therefore, I practice it. So it is not a theoretical thing, a practical day-to-day thing. So it's important to understand there's a difference. And so when we are guiding and preparing the application, we are infusing expertise touch. That's the difference. Some of you will have really bad stories of going to practitioners in the past. But don't get dismayed. Don't, as a result of that, I said, I'm not going to meet any solicitor again. I'm going to run it myself. No, don't say that. It's simply because you have not met the right one. Now, the right one you're watching on the screen right now. Yes. The right one you are watching right now. Because why is it the right one? Because professionalism is at the fingertips. Thoroughness is the watchword. For you to succeed is our dream, our aspiration, our goal, and our mission. To make sure that your process in your legal proceedings is stress-free for you is our fundamental goal. And therefore, it is important that you understand that you don't get dismayed simply because you've visited 1, 2, 3, 4, they've done 1, 2, 3, 4 for you, and therefore you lose hope. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope, because if you lose hope, you will lose hope at the end. Go for those ones that have your empathy at heart. Not just the empathy, firmness, keeping your eyes on the law, on the issues, an argument, transforming your circumstances to ensure that it meets the requirement and is a sound argument to present it before the judges, to present it in a sound way, running through, even if that judge does not see reason. Also approach another judge for make sure that you are succeed. I give you this adage. Tice Madox Solicitors is like that woman in the scriptures in the Bible that approached a rich man for justice. And the rich man has said to him, go away and leave my house. And she kept on pressing, the Bible says. And finally, the rich man said, and this is actually, he said, this woman has pestered me. What do you want? I said, go, I've given it to you at the last minute. That is what justice is. So you may be delivered wrong news. As long as legal matters are concerned, and in asylum, in employment, in immigration, whatever it is, in other fields that you're seeking justice on, and even personal injuries, the rest of them. But you can't stop there. As long as there's a window of opportunity created by the rules and procedures in civil or immigration procedures, you can still resurrect that case. But the problem here, going back to asylum, is that once you have punctured your credibility, you've punctured it from the beginning, from the Home Office, and then the First Tribunal endorsed that, because the court is a cost of investigation. In the cost of investigation, during the hearing, will also make up their mind as to whether you are a witness of truth or a witness that totally lacks credibility. Sometimes the judges will go far to show that there is no iota of credibility in this witness. That kills off your asylum claim, even if the fact, and even if you know that once you take up on this plane, land in your country of origin, that you will not survive the next day. But how to convey that sadness, that situation, to meet the requirement of the law is not lacking. But however, instead of doing it properly, you've actually destroyed it. And the same persecution awaits you unchanged. And the country you've run to for help have dissed you out. Why? Because it's a legal process. Why would you want to spoil your case? So your cases are not coherent. Your stories are not, consistent. They're disjointed. They're not married in a way that is plausible and believable. So asylum claim is anchored on credibility. Credibility. And how do you show that you're a credible witness? How do you show you're a credible claimant? Is by going through a process of refinement. And that process of refinement is by coming to the firm that will refine your stories, present it in a way that the caseworker asking you questions are able to get the correct answers that tick the boxes. If you don't tick the boxes, then you have correct explanation as to why not. There must be explanation as to why not. So asylum update is different. Recently, the reason why I'm talking about this update today is because recent people who have come to me based on asylum claim, because the change of immigration system sways people into different fields to regularize the stay. The current happenings in the immigration settings are pushing a lot of people to realize that really they have this asylum claim to make. Now, the issue credibility comes into the delay too. So the delay in claiming asylum hits you bad. But that could be sorted out. That could be dealt with. And other things. So credibility is fundamental and it's very key. So credibility is a key point for you whenever you want to take an embark on this step. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been discussing on updates on asylum. and in fine-tuning the fact that you must seek the proper channel to go through this process, make sure that you succeed. That even if the Home Office refuses the first time, the court will correct it because Home Office were reasonable. Not when your stories are disjointed. It will be difficult for you to succeed. But Tice Madox Solicitors will do all it can take to run and advocate for you. Till next time I come here, we ask you to go to our YouTube page, Tice Madox Solicitors. Also go to our Facebook, Tice Madox Solicitors, and subscribe to us as well. And also add us on Twitter at Tice_Madox. Check us on the website, ticemadox.com. Till next time I come your way, I remain your preferred solicitor, Justice Maduforo, and of course your preferred firm, Tice Madox Solicitors. Be strong.
Tice Madox Solicitors is results-oriented, but with a distinctive approach tailored to our clients' needs in our specialist fields: immigration law, criminal law, employment law, commercial law, family law, and contracts law. We are well equipped in our litigation and advocacy for the benefit of our clients, corporates, and individuals. Why not visit us at 5 Oakfield House, Oakfield Road, Ilford, London, IG1 1EF. We are just 15 minutes from Liverpool Street Station. Tice Madox Solicitors. Try us. We are professional,